Bungie has just responded to the immense community backlash in regards to their launch of the Edge of Fate raid. DMG, the community manager, posted this just now on Twitter saying, watching the feedback on raid info, normal difficulty going live post contest completion. If you don't know what he's talking about, when the raid goes live, it's put under a contest mode, and obviously the team that gets world's first gets the belt, but contest mode itself is extremely difficult and lasts for 48 hours. However, after the very first team clears and passes the finish line, normal mode will then be unlocked immediately. And some people have mixed opinions about this because there can be encounters like a Verity encounter or something that's difficult puzzle-wise, and, unlocking the normal mode means that people are going to be able to power through it, right? It kind of removes a lot of the challenge from the contest mode for a lot of people. So for that reason, it's actually received a decent amount of backlash across social media. Let me know if you think people are just overreacting though. DMG then goes on to say, general thoughts below. Folks have always been able to watch guides for contest raids or dungeons during/after world's first completion to know encounters and strategies before diving in. So basically what he's saying is that even though people will have the ability to go into normal mode very shortly after the raid launches, because people will clear it, relatively fast. I mean, maybe like 6 hours, right? People have always had access to extra information like guides and, tweets and just general, word of mouth floating information to solve the raids in contests. We've also been opening up normal difficulty for dungeons after contest completion and seen some great excitement and enjoyment. So Bungie is pushing things, lowering the bar a little bit here, and they want to make these activities a little more accessible. So whenever contest mode comes out, as soon as it's cleared by the world's first team, whether it's a dungeon or a raid, they then make the normal mode come out rather than making everyone wait the full entirety of 48 hours. While normal difficulty will give some hands-on time, there's still a 48-hour time crunch to understand and master encounters, and then increase the difficulty and remaster said encounters. The difficulty in execution is still there. Not everyone can do this. Many still stick to normal difficulty and leave contest to the higher skilled. Let me know down in the comment section below. Will you be trying to clear the contest mode raid in the Edge of Fate, or are you going to stick to normal difficulty, or are you the third option and you're not even going to try the raid at all? Next, he says, I feel some immediate comments are seeking to delegitimize clears before they can even happen. I would ask for folks to lean more to community building, celebratory vibes to bring people in and inspire them to take on the challenge, rather than tearing folks down and pushing them out before an activity is even live. And he puts an exclamation point on that one, so he's pretty serious about that. Tearing people down before the activity is live is obviously kind of a toxic trait, and Destiny 2 players, we take our contest mode raids, we take our contest mode content very seriously because we only get this once a year now, right? You don't even get 2 raids a year anymore. You get 1 raid a year, you get a 48-hour contest during that. I mean, this is just a very tiny window in time, and so people are always advocating for it to be as competitive and as sweaty as possible, so that way if you do clear it, you feel that sense of gratification, you feel that sense of you really suffered and you really went through something crazy to get to the end, to cross that finish line, right? And so anytime the bar is lowered by Bungie in any way, like a good example is it used to be a 24-hour raid race and then they extended that time to 48 hours, you're going to see some pushback from the especially hardcore crowd. And that's what we're getting here, is that the hardcore people, the people that really want to see a challenging raid race, the people that want to see the community struggle and only the sweatiest of sweaty peoples prosper, they're speaking up. They want for Bungie to not lower the bar any more than they already have. But this has been a recurring trend. This game, even though it does have a hardcore element with these world's first races, this game is by and large for the casual enjoyer, right? This is not an esports game. Even world's first rating is not like, it's not some $1 million cash prize on the line. It's not that serious. I don't think that lowering the bar for the casual raider is really a massive problem, but I kind of understand where the hardcore crowd is coming from. As someone that has cleared every single contest raid, every single raid in 24 hours upon launch, except for the Last Wish, right? Other than that one, I've cleared all of them from the beginning of Destiny until now. I understand where they're coming from, where they want to keep, they want to keep the bar pretty high. They don't want to what we don't want to see is another Root of Nightmares, right? Where every single person was able to clear in contest, okay? The bar was set so unbelievably low that people kind of delegitimize that. They're like, "Yep, dude, you got the 48-hour emblem from Root of Nightmares. You know, my grandma could have cleared that, right?" People were ironically low manning the entire raid. I think two people actually two-manned the entire Root of Nightmares raid flawlessly in contest. Like, that's how low Bungie set the bar, and people criticize that heavily, especially people that are in that hardcore community. And I know the majority of people out there watching this are like, "What the hell? Fuck those guys. Those guys are a bunch of fucking nerds, dude. Why do we care about their opinions at all?" And to be fair, you kind of have a valid point, because they literally are like the 0.1% of players. But this is a particular activity for that 0.1% players, right? This is the activity for the hardcore of the hardcore. This is not the 99%, right? The 99%, you guys get Kepler, you guys get a campaign, you guys get the normal mode raid if you're interested in that. You guys get the exotics and everything else. Like, you get all these other things to enjoy. Like, that's where you're going to really sink your teeth into, and that's where you're going to spend the majority of your time throughout the Edge of Fate. You're probably not going into the contest mode at all. But let's go on to the next part here. Feels better to grow our raiding community and help get folks into more endgame content rather than telling them they're not good enough to even think about trying. So normal difficulty isn't allowed until the 48-hour contests are up. Okay, so I actually agree with the sentiment. Getting more people into raiding is a really good idea, especially because anyone that does actively get involved into raiding in Destiny 2, I think you're going to get really hooked on this game, and you're probably going to become a Destiny 2 fan, right? I myself, I was enjoying playing Destiny 1 when I first launched into it. I thought it was cool. But as soon as I jumped into the Vault of Glass, I was like, oh, damn, this is my game. For me, the Vault of Glass is what sold me on being a Destiny fan. And I share that sentiment with several others in my community, and I think that new players, you know, if they're allowed to do the raid and not criticize for whatever reason, I think that they'll be more interested in playing Destiny in the long run, right? Sure, some may fail at completing contest even after completing normal, but we hope it can be a moment of inspiration for future attempts. So what they're talking about is that people will still clear normal and then go to clear contest even after they understand the mechanics and just not be able to, okay? Fireteam Finder teams can be filled with a bunch of potatoes and weirdo blueberries that rage quit for like no reason, and it can still be very difficult to clear in that very tight time window, which is 48 hours, right? And we have to keep in mind that it's not 48 hours if you're trying to clear normal and you're trying to clear it in contest. It would be, it's going to launch, the team that clears it first, let's say 6 hours is the estimation. 6 hours they clear it. Okay, now normal's unlocked. Now you're 6 hours into that 48 hours. You got 42 hours left. Now you need to clear normal. Okay, you have to understand the mechanics. You have to find a good team, you know, use Fireteam Finder, whatever, you know, it might take you quite a few hours just to get through it because no one knows what they're doing exactly just yet. And even though normal difficulty will be easier, it's still going to be difficult. Okay, let's say another 4 hours goes in and you finally clear, so you're 10 hours deep. Okay, now you got to go to bed, and now you got to wake up the next day, and when you wake up the next day, you're going to have, you know, maybe another 12 hours if you don't already have a job that you got to go to try and go in and clear the contest mode difficulty. It'll still be just as difficult in terms of the ads destroying you, the bosses, you know, melting you, and you'll struggle with DPS and survivability and all the usual contest things, but you will understand the mechanics. And what this will do is this will make it so that a lot more people clear within that 48-hour time window, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I think that there's a time and a place for a brutally hard ball-busting raid, and we just recently had one with Salvation's Edge. That raid destroyed people. That raid ruined friendships, right? That raid was so difficult. I mean, I myself barely cleared that in contest. It was so difficult, so brutal, right? So I don't think we need a Last Wish or a Salvation's Edge every single time a raid comes around once a year. I think that it's okay to have that like brutal raid, and then maybe like 2, you know, not easy raids, but you know, 2 like medium difficulty raids, and then get back to the brutal raid again, you know, like create like a sort of cycle with it, right? Especially when we're fighting like a big baddie. Right now, we're not fighting a big baddie from what I can tell. It seems like we're just, you know, beginning the start of a new saga, and whoever the hell we're fighting in general, I don't know. Hopefully it's not fucking Taniks, right? But whoever it is, you know, they're probably not going to be that crazy tough. And so clears of this probably aren't going to be that wild, that difficult. DMG then goes on to say, I understand prestige is important for high-end content. The team is still striving to provide an experience that requires skill, teamwork, and mastery to overcome. Folks will still need to earn that completion in the 48-hour time limit. This will be the first time we do this for a raid. We're excited for it. If we need to shift it in the future, we will, but we're confident in the current plan and very much excited for July 19th. Much love, folks. So there it is. It's still going to be very difficult, as he's mentioned here. You know, contest clears are never easy, in my opinion. Even if you're the sweatiest person in the world, you know, you can admit, you know, they're usually pretty difficult. I mean, Root of Nightmares set aside, you know, they're usually pretty difficult, right? Even for the hardcore crowd out there, they can kind of admit that, you know, the majority of Destiny players, it's difficult to clear in contests. This is the first time that Bungie's ever done this for a raid specifically. They've been doing this for dungeons, and so they're trying to experiment. They're trying to lower the bar a little bit. They're trying to make it a little more accessible, especially for the new players jumping in. I don't necessarily demonize Bungie for this. I don't think that they're the worst for doing this, but again, I understand where the hardcore crowd comes from. They're always going to advocate for things to be more hardcore. I was a part of that crowd for many, many years. I just wanted the game to be as difficult as possible, so that way, when I did clear something, like when I was trying to clear the last wish, I knew that if I did clear it, it was going to be incredible, you know? I remember being there at 23 hours, my eyes are bloodshot, I'm at Riven, trying to kill Riven, can't get the mechanics going. The whole team is frustrated. Everyone's tired. We were unable to clear it. It felt defeating, but I still look back at that with fond memories because, man, we were trying so hard, dude. We were doing everything to clear that, all right? At that point in time, Redeem had already cleared it, and we also had Tier 1 had already cleared it, and no other teams had, though, and so we were thinking, man, I don't think we're going to pull this off in time, and we didn't, unfortunately. We didn't pull it off, but it gave me inspiration to grind even a little bit harder for the next expansion, which ended up being an easy raid after that anyways. So I think that the cycle will continue with that. I think this raid won't be that ball busting in general. Hopefully it does open up the game to a lot more new players, but let me know what you think down in the comment section below. How do you feel about the normal mode difficulty unlocking as soon as the world's first team crosses that finish line? Does that upset you, or do you think that the community is overreacting? I'll be reading your comments down below, and make sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Click on the screen here to watch another one from this channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.